Captain Boomerang is dressed like a birthday party wizard or something. It's awesome.
Well, that's just standard Australian clothing. That's how they dress down under.
We have a buddy from Australia, and he dresses like that all the time. Here we go again. It is time for another episode of Comic Books and Cold Ones. We are the beer podcast with a comic book problem. We read all things comic books, drink all things beer. If you like beer and comics, you've come to the right place. Now, I am joined, as always, by my legendary co-host. Today he will go by Y Yekton Yekfree. How are you doing today, Yek?
Pretty good. I thought you were going to go with Yekins today.
No, you have to go with all the Y's.
Okay. I will maybe go with KMac side then, or should I go with the Phantom KMac Stranger?
Either one works.
That one does not
rolls right off the
tongue. That one does not roll off the tongue. Welcome, everybody. You're tuning in to a podcast about beer and comic books, and we are going to be covering both today in another episode where we do our ongoing series of what we call our Big Swig pub crawl, where we are two friends who sit down at a bar and drink some beers and talk about an epic crossover in DC or Marvel. Tonight we are talking about a Marvel crossover, DC crossover.
DC crossover.
I forget. But we are walking through all the big crossovers, continuity-wide in each of the universes, and drinking some beer along with them. And tonight we were coming the mid-'80s classic DC Legends, and we will talk more about that. But for now, KMac, tell them where they can talk to us if they want to listen to more and give us some more advice on beer and comic books.
Oh boy, yeah. If you would like to get in touch with us, we have a Gmail account. It is cbcopodcast@gmail.com. We also have Twitter @cbco_podcast. Write us some funny quips, find our stuff, like our posts. And then also we post many beer pictures and comic book pictures on Instagram, and you just have to search comicbooks_cold ones. Let us know what you think of the show. Message us. And send us beer ideas, please. We love the beer ideas.
And breweries that hit up across this country. So when we go traveling, we can try some out, or around the world even. We are always looking for ideas, not only beer to look for at our local stores, but also maybe to travel and drink some more with you guys.
Yeah, that's great. Anything beer related, please.
And tonight we have a shout out to Fort Mill, South Carolina. We have a new listener coming in from there. From the South CAC, as a friend I used to have from South Carolina called South Carolina. I do not know why that's the name they gave for a nickname, but that was it from the late 90s. So Fort Mill, South CAC. Can you tell me something famous about Fort Mill, South Carolina?
Well, I sure can. I can tell you that it's the home of the minor league basketball franchise, the Primetime Players. Heck yeah.
Oh, yeah.
They're 4-time minor league champions. That's 2012 to 2014.
That's a pretty good name. I did not know they were so successful. But
it is a great name. Did you know there are some moderately famous people from Fort Mill, South Carolina?
How do you define moderately famous? Like if I were to say, is my local newscaster, is that moderately famous, or is that below moderately famous?
I think that's below moderately famous.
Below. Okay.
Yeah, I think that's below. So we have Miss USA 2019, Chelsea Christ. That's pretty famous, moderately speaking.
Yeah. So at one time, was Miss USA more famous to be a Miss USA, do you think?
I think so.
But you're never Miss America, right?
Right.
Miss USA is the same as Miss America. So
no, I don't think so.
So I think Miss USA was always just moderately famous.
I think you're right.
I think we'll go with Miss USA as maybe the bar, the benchmark for moderately famous.
Yeah, I think so. Miss USA, and followed by comic book and beer podcast hosts.
Yes, well, we at least can rise up the scale from moderately famous to semi-famous, I believe.
That's true. We got places to go.
Yeah. But I was thinking more along the line of Fort Mill is the birthplace, it appears to be, of the Carolina Reaper pepper, which is the hottest pepper in the world.
Well, that's odd. You would think it would come from someplace tropical.
Within 100,000 Scoville units. How hot is the Carolina Reaper?
Within how many thousand?
100,000.
90,000.
Within 100,000. Guess how hot?
Oh, within, I thought you said up to 100,000.
No. The level of precision I am looking for you, and you can't Google it.
I'm
Within
Googling it right
100,000.
now.
Within 100,000 Scoville units, KMac, Pepperhead Mac. How many? How hot is Carolina Reaper?
300,000.
No.
No. Okay. Tell me how hot it is.
So when you talk about like the most hot peppers in the world, you're always at least 1,000,000 Scoville units.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, I don't know a lot about peppers because I have a pepper allergy, so I can't eat them very much.
That you heard that here first. If you ever want to defeat KMac when you're challenging him as a superhero, just bring out peppers because it'll take him down.
That'll do it. That's my kryptonite.
This would be his greatest weakness because the Carolina Reaper, being the hottest one in the world, comes in at 1.64 million Scoville units.
Wow. I see 3.18 million.
There's this. I'm looking at the Wikipedia one, but yeah, they go up to 3 million. I think the hottest measured one, I think, goes over that level. So
Yeah. Yikes. That's hot pepper.
that is a one hot pepper. So, do you know how they measure Scoville units?
I guess they just have people try them and how much they sweat, right?
I assume you just line up guys named Scoville next to each other and
How many can eat it until they pass out?
how many like you have to find hot Scovilles
Mm-hmm.
and stack them together to compare how hot it is.
I don't want to compare hot Scoville units.
But no, the actuality, the way they do Scoville is it a Scoville unit is one drop of water. So it's how many drops of water it takes for some measurement of the pepper to be diluted to be neutral, so it's no longer hot.
Oh, okay. Interesting.
That is the lesson of the day. And what I was also thinking Fort Mill, South Carolina, was famous for was making mills of forts. But
Probably.
no,
Probably.
was it? Did they have a mill and they're like, oh crap, we need to turn this into a fort, or did they mill the fort? Which is it?
They probably just had to do them at the same time because, you need a mill, you need a fort. It was probably the only building in town. There's not much to do in Fort Mill, at least according to Atlas Obscura. They have an upper room chapel. They have an office building, James K. Polk Historic Site, but that's in North Carolina. So this is kind of a suburb of Charlotte, even though it's in South Carolina.
Yes.
Okay.
That is correct. So
they don't have a shopping mall like the last place we talked about.
I know.
One day, Fort Mill, you too will have a shopping mall.
When you rise to moderately famous,
mm-hmm.
and they were able to put a shopping mall in your town, you will be known as mating it.
Yep.
Maybe that former Miss USA can use some of that Miss USA money and invest in Fort Mill and make a.
You would think she would have
make
already.
a shopping mall, or some of them primetime player money. Players.
Yeah, the primetime players. That's a great name.
Well, we're about to be some primetime players with some beers, and we need some beers before we kick off talking about this DC crossover, and it's a big swig, so we need some big beers. So I'm gonna let KMac lead off with what he's drinking tonight.
Oh boy, I get to lead off again. Well, let me grab my beer real fast, and I will do that. And I also have to grab the specs. I was so excited about drinking beer that I forgot to grab the specs. Think I've done this before? You're wrong. I've never done a beer podcast before.
Or a comics podcast.
Or a comics podcast, yes. So, my beer...
We are not moderately or semi-famous yet.
Right. Getting there, though. Getting there. So, my beer is from a legendary craft brewery. You might have heard of it. It's called New Belgium. Have you ever heard of that?
I have, and I think you have had some in New Belgium on this brewery, on this podcast.
I have. So, the book we're talking about today was published between 1985 and 1986 for the books, the story. So my beer is New Belgium Voodoo Ranger 1985.
Ooh.
I guess it's a new limited release. I was hoping to hold this until one of our episodes later this year where we might do a draft related to 80s because the Voodoo Ranger has a nice cobra on his 1980s jacket, but I want to drink it, so
Similar
I couldn't
to
wait.
the Cobra Kai logo from Karate Kid.
Right, similar to that, similar to maybe a GI Joe enemy
Ah,
logo. Ah, yes,
very nice, very nice. And
yeah.
what type of beer is it?
It is hazy IPA, New England style, 6.7 ABV, 30 IBUs, and that's all I know right now because I did a bad job researching my beer.
This is the reason we can't depend on KMac to give
Right,
you the information, and the reason you should email us about the beer so we know ahead of time, so KMac doesn't have to think or use the internet.
right, exactly. I'm good at editing podcasts, though. I edit the hell out of this thing.
By the edits, it'll be I
Mhm.
don't know that this beer is da 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 da.
So it has Pato, Cascade, Citra, Simcoe, and Centennial hops. The malt is pale malt, malted oats, and white wheat.
Do they say
Our,
why it's called 1985? I
let's
assume it's some
see.
retro something.
Yeah, our Voodoo Ranger family is brewed with trend-setting hop and malt, blah, 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 blah. Why is it 1985? I don't know. Like totally loaded with juicy mango flavor, 1985 takes you back to the future of hazy IPAs. Buckle up. So
Uh,
I don't know. They put mango in it, and I guess in 1985, all beers were mangoed.
well, I think in 1985 is the first time man made mangoes,
Okay, that's
or
the origin
mangoes
of
were
mangoes.
discovered at that time.
I think that might be right.
Yeah, I mean, basically, before India, no one in India was eating mangoes.
Right,
And
that's
then all of
true.
a sudden, India makes mangoes. And we're like, what?
And then they put them in beer.
And then they were like, you know what would go good with the hazy IPA? Some sweet, sweet mango flavor while I'm
Mm,
watching Ghostbusters.
yeah. So this will be the second mango flavored beer I've had this week. Interesting.
You were a manga nut.
I'm manga mad, and I'm not sure why that's happening. We shall see.
Well,
What about you? Did you bring a beer to today's show?
I got a beers.
What?
I got a beer here. And so the story is I went out to the suburbs to go to a friend's kid's birthday party yesterday, and he has a little bottle shop near him. So I walk in there, and it's one of these places that has too many beers to be able to put on their shelves. So they stack up the cases and stuff, and you have to walk around the cases and look for them. They're on the floor. So it's a little, mom and pop type place like this. And so I go
That's
in, and
fun
they
though.
they have a stack in front of me, and I'm just kind of looking at the cans, picking up to see what styles it is, because you can't tell anymore because the cans are so fancy, and this one's like super fancy can. And randomly, some dude comes next to me and goes, "The one you got to get's that one right there on the side. It's really good."
Oh, perfect.
And I was like, "What? Yeah, one. That's the one you got to get."
So
So
that's like the Phantom Stranger coming.
pretty much, it was the
Yeah.
Phantom Stranger of the
Nice.
bottle shop rolling up on me, spooking the shit out of me.
That's what he does. That's what he does.
Even though it's a busy bottle shop because they have a little tasting tap area, and so people can sit back there and drink, and there's quite a people coming in on a warm Saturday afternoon. Guy just over my shoulder out of nowhere when I'm looking at things. I was like, dude, you almost got punched, Phantom Stranger. So I had to pick up this beer, and lo and behold, it had a great name that kind of signified legendary things. The name of this beer, and I F you not,
All
is
right.
A Gateway to Inhabiting Vast, Magnificent Worlds.
What?
Yes. It is by Burial Brewing Company out of Asheville, North Carolina, but they have lots of locations in North Carolina. And it is a Kolsch style ale, so it's a summer type ale. Look at the craziness on this can.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. And and
Wow.
the spiel on this for A Gateway to Inhabiting Vast Magnificent Worlds. Put it out to pasture, let it die, to land for your new beginning. Year 10. So they have Anno X on here in Latin in year 10. A gateway to inhabiting vast, magnificent worlds. A Kolsch built by Alia Midun or Midun. I don't know how to. It's
Mhm.
Midoun. So they're already they're doing creator shout outs here. Aaliyah
Okay.
balanced this beer in the trajectory of her transatlantic story. Forged from a base of traditional German Pilsner, she applied a new angle with American wheat before combining Old Stalwart Hallertau Mittelfrüh with revolutionary German Hallertau Blanc. So there's all the different types of hops. We fermented cool with German ale yeast and skip extended aging to present it fresh, complementing an abundant mineral water table. Loaves of spice bread,
Oh,
white grape juice steeped with lemongrass wildflower tea and zested with bouquet of fresh citrus, coming at 4.9% ABV, 32 IBUs. I am not going to be able to taste, I think, half of what they listed in
yeah.
there,
Wow. And
but
where's the
I will see
mango?
how. Yeah, there is no mango in this one, so KMac cannot enjoy it.
Yeah. I'm looking at the picture of this can, and it is an awesome design can. Like the art is great. Everything's on there. It's like a skull, weird passageway.
There's a fountain pouring over and forming
Yeah.
a river, and there's a pyramid. I mean, there's all types of Masonic shit going on in this.
There's a shovel, which is weird,
there's
but
there's some Illuminati.
yeah, there's doves. Oh yeah, and there's a whole bunch of Washington monuments or
just
phallic structures. Interesting.
mm-hmm.
And so that is it is so amazing that the Phantom Stranger helped you choose your beer for
I
today's
know.
show. That's great.
Out
Wow.
of nowhere.
I know. That's what he does.
And we'll learn more about the Phantom Stranger today.
We
But I
sure
think we're going to
will.
crack these beers open so we can start enjoying
Yes, we do.
and
All
drinking.
right. All right, let's crack them.
Yeah. I see no spice loaves.
What? I got a whole bunch of fancy beer glasses for Father's Day, so I get to use my.
Did you choose the right one for drinking? Is this the IPA glass?
Yep.
Is that what it said on there? The IPA glass, this one.
Well, no, it didn't tell me. I had to Google, but I know IPAs they tend to serve better in like the fluted type glasses. So,
Cheers.
cheers. Smells a little mangoey.
Little citrusy, I can smell. I can't smell the wildflower tea though.
Hmm. So more bitterness than hops. I can taste in this one, which is interesting. I don't think I've ever had an IPA where I can taste where it's much more bitter than hoppy.
Not the hoppies. This one comes through pretty much as a clean Kolsch
Yeah.
style lager, and we'll save the origin of Kolsch style lager for another episode with KMac, so we can get to talk about this guy, this
Yeah.
comic book.
Well, when I drink Kolsch next time.
But no, it's good. It's really good. Aaliyah Maiden, my Illuminati hats off to you from the
Cheers.
Phantom Stranger. To you, Phantom Stranger, thank you so much. So, getting into this, DC Legends, as you know, this is our big Swig pub crawl. So we talk about crossovers, and we don't do the big walkthrough for you. If you want, read the comics, but we just kind of cover kind of the highlights and what we liked about it and what we didn't like about it. Trying to give you our hot takes on, why this may be good or bad and worthwhile reading, and bringing you up to what happened in 85 and 86 in the DC world. And so this is kind of a reader's guide to those issues. So we'll kick it off here and give you a little background. When this came out, I think KMac listed it. It ran from April 1985 through March 1986. This was DC-wide crossover with a 4-part miniseries comic, just called Legends, and it ran.
Multiple crossovers.
Yep, and it came at the same time as Dark Knight Returns and Watchmen were out. So two big adult comic books are rethinking how comic books were done.
This one was not.
Well, no, I will say it. DC was coming off how it redid comics with Crisis on Infinite Earths, and this is their
Yeah.
big. Hey, we've got this new universe we've created out of all these universes. We need to get the readers off on a good foot and understand what's going on compared to what they were reading pre-Crisis.
Right, because this is the first crossover after Crisis on Infinite Earth, so it's a chance to like bring some of the characters together who haven't had a chance to be together before, and to, I guess, and even on paper, they're introducing some of them to each other as well.
Correct. Yeah, this is the hey, we've had DC. We bought in the past. We bought Charlton Comics. We've bought in the comics where Shazam was in. And so we're bringing those all together now. So you're going to see Shazam, you're going to see Blue Beetle, you're going to see all these characters now inhabit one universe. And this was their idea of how to kind of bring it together and set it all up. And it was orchestrated by pretty much Lynn Wein and John Ostrander as the architects of these main miniseries books. And I think they were kind of the big scripters of everything. Variety of artists out there, but this is also when John Byrne gets his first big run on Superman, Man of Steel, and I think draws pretty much half the DC universe at one time.
It seems like it, right?
During the 80s.
Everything except Batman.
Yes. So he takes the reins and runs with it.
Yeah, we have inks in a lot of these books by Carl Kessel. He can do the Kessel run in no time at all, right?
Well, he draws it in less than 10 parsecs, right?
He does draw in less than 10 parsecs, yeah. Colors are by Tom, I guess it's Zuko or Zuko?
Famous Tom Zuko, yeah. He's colored a lot of the books in this age and his name.
Moderately famous Tom Zuko, everybody. Letters by Stevie Haney and editor Mike Gold. I don't know who the editor in chief was during this time at DC, though.
I don't know if
we'll just say it was Jim Shooter.
No, just say it was Jim Shooter. He was the phantom editor at DC at the time. Mm-hmm. Yeah, because at this time he was being kicked out of Marvel for a series.
Yeah, for Secret Wars 2.
For people just not liking him that much because of what he did with Secret Wars 2. But the whole premise, as we said, was, on the company side was to introduce all these characters, bring everything together. But the story side was pretty much a big allegory setup of a bet between Dark Side of Apocalypse and who we've already mentioned today, the Phantom Stranger, with Dark Side scheming how he can take over Earth with, and overcome all the superheroes on Earth. And the bet is Dark Side thinks he can turn all humanity against the heroes or the legends. That's where it gets its name, kids. And the Phantom Stranger says, I'll take that bet. And so Darkseid starts scheming, and the legends, of course, in this case are, superheroes, aka the gods of Earth, right? So he's trying to see if he can turn humanity against God, basically.
Against its gods.
Yeah. So this is biblical, allegorical stuff of like the Book of Job. And deep diving on that, if you want, you can go read the Book of Job if you want before reading this.
If you want to be really, really sad.
As the prequel.
Yeah. So when the Phantom Stranger visited me, we made a bet that he could find a beer that you wouldn't like. And I said, there's no way you can find a beer that Yek wouldn't like. And I won.
And I was going to say, what did you win from the Phantom Stranger?
Just bragging rights.
You're going to hold it over him next time he shows up out of nowhere?
Yeah. Say, hey, man, you work for me now.
You strange for me now, you phantom. But like I said, this takes place. Oh, I didn't do the comic count on this, but it is how many issues?
It's lots.
It's basically told a lot of 4-part series, and most of the run of the comics, but there are a number of 2 shots here and there. Let me pull up the.
Here, I have it up. Give me a second.
I can pull it up on the readingorder.com. There are 28 issues in this. And it kicks off interesting with 2 Batman comics, and they immediately
28 issues. I just counted. Yeah, it kicks off with Batman, like you're saying. Sorry.
And they kind of sideline Batman in the rest of it, and which is really interesting. So they really want to feature the new heroes and the smaller heroes. So they give you your taste of Batman early, and that's kind of a neat thing, because we'll get to one of the other things, which is Batman starts off as 2 comics, and they get rid of him, and they bookend at the back end with Superman being brought in, who's the biggest one, the biggest legend, right? So
yeah, that's a nice way to sandwich the rest of the story.
Yeah. And
because we do get to talk about sandwiches too.
And I believe one of KMac's favorite things, though, does come from is this during the series, Robin, Jason Todd gets the living hell beat out of him by.
Yeah, he does. Foreshadowing.
And who beats him up?
Just a bunch of people at the They were rescue. What were they doing? They were rescuing.
I believe some hero. I can't remember what went down, but so in this series to rile up the populace of Earth, um, Darkseid sends Glorious Godfried, his propaganda man, to Earth, and he takes on the persona of pretty much any character.
Himself.
He takes on the persona of a guy named G. Gordon Godfried, who is just a tabloid TV show host that you would probably recognize from much of our news tabloid TV shows now. Same character, but 1985 style, and just rants against how bad heroes are and all those things. So the populace wants to, uh, eventually rivals up against them through his series of
Yeah,
life.
he has certain powers too, which convince people to to believe what he's saying.
Interesting enough, in the reading of this, they never can point to if he ever uses his powers though to woo the populace.
Yeah, I mean, he does it once with like that cat guy, whatever that guy's name is in the Suicide Squad.
Bronze Tiger.
Bronze
Uh,
Tiger, Catman.
no, Catman's a different man.
I know.
No,
He was in Justice Society.
yes,
And then he was replaced by a woman who also went by Catman.
Catman.
Dun-dun-dun-dun-dun.
But so it's even current as of now with talking heads on TV making people believe what they want to believe by telling them lies. So it's still very current on those. But they do rile up. One of the good things is they rile up a mob, and as we've talked about before, nobody takes a beating like Robin
Right,
for a
specifically Jason
yeah,
Todd.
for a teenager, and yeah, foreshadows what becomes of Jason Todd eventually when he gets his ultimate beat down.
Yeah, when the Joker gives him his ultimate beat down there.
So that's the top five. One of the most interesting things, is the story of how Robin gets beat down, as we've always covered. On the bad side, there's a 4-part series in here of where they have probably the worst Justice League of America ever, with some not very good art and not very good storytelling and an awful villain. And the whole point of Legends, also one of the big things, as we said, is to introduce new characters, is they wanted to kill off this series. And I feel bad for the creators on this because they had to tell stories using Martian Manhunter, Firestorm, Elongated Man, Vixen, Gypsy, Steel,
Steel,
and Vibe.
oh, and Vibe. Yeah, it's not a great team. I mean, when I was a kid, I always thought Firestorm was a really cool character. I think that was the point of him, is so kids my age would really, really love him. But like aside from that, there's not really anyone great on this team. And Vibe's cool. I know Vibe pretty much from the CW Flash show at this point.
He's
And they
good in
they
the
did
CW Flash show, but he's a
he
terrible
is.
costume in this comic. And Gypsy literally walks around looking like a gypsy, and let's face it, that's not kosher.
No, not great. Not great.
you you have Longman in that doesn't really do anything in these whole things. Firestorm kind of disappears also. Martian Manhunter, I'm sorry, I just don't buy him as the leader of the Justice League. It's just crappy. I know he's the
Yeah.
tactician and all that, but yeah.
Yeah, it's just not a great team. And they get a building dropped on them by Brimstone. And after that, they just really can't recover. And they're fighting and fighting. And Martian Manhunter's like, all right, motherfuckers, go home. And they're like, what? And he's like, his team's done.
Well, they get torn apart in a 4-part miniseries part of this by Professor Ivo, who's becoming a lizard
Right.
man who makes replica robots of all the people that are in the Justice League, and they infiltrate the Justice League.
He takes them out like one by one,
Yes,
doesn't he?
and I think he kills Steel in this,
He might, yeah.
which no big deal. But Ivo's
Yeah, who
becoming a
cares?
lizard person, and Ivo has robots of himself that act as his counselor. There is no OMEC, and you're like, well, how do I have Professor Ivo if I have no OMEC?
Yeah. Yeah, it's kind of a weird story.
It,
But I mean, it's JM. Is it Dematteis that writes that?
I
He's written some good
When he
things,
takes
but
over, and then him and Giffen go on the run, like I said, one of the good things that sets us up for is his run
mm,
with Giffen on the Justice League series, International that follows
yeah,
us, and Justice League Europe and all that stuff. Um, but this is just dog doo doo.
yeah. So they're kind of winding this team down.
Thankfully,
Thank goodness. Yes, thank goodness.
I mean, yeah. I just feel bad that they got stuck doing this, and the art on this is just. I can't believe there's actually
It's
people
hard.
that wrote DC fandom pages on this and took
Yeah.
screenshots of things and were writing it.
Yeah, it's hard enough to get through when you're reading it, let alone to like write your own content about it.
Yes.
No, thank you.
My hat's off, DC fandom people with less lives than us. I will say, we
Yeah.
salute you. And
You keep doing what you're doing.
I still can't taste the spice loaves. I do taste a little bit of lemongrass, and the beer. It's really good. And you can the Hallertau, classically come through. We learned a lot about Hallertau hops from our advent calendars this year because every brew we got
Oh
from
yeah, we
Germany,
did.
had lots of Hallertau.
I have lemongrass in my backyard. We were trimming it today.
Did you make a beer out of it?
I didn't know you can make beer out of it, so that's what I'm doing tomorrow. I'm going to call in work and make beer out of lemongrass.
Yeah, work.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're not gonna. I can't make it in today. Why not? Cut in a bunch of lemongrass. So
Yeah, lemongrass can make beer. I gotta go figure this out.
Look, I get personal days. I'm using one of my personal days to make beer out of lemongrass. That's personal.
It is personal, and it should be allowed.
Yes.
Approved. My beer tastes less and less bitter the more I drink of it.
Does it taste more and more 1985 or more and more 1984, 1986?
I will have to let you know that.
Okay.
Still somewhere in that range. I haven't pinpointed the year yet.
So
I'll get there soon.
Swooping back to another thing I really liked about this is also the debut of the Secret Origin series in DC Comics, which they use to basically tell all the origins that are now new for the characters.
Like post-crisis.
Post-crisis to kind of, hey, you 12-year-old who know nothing about DC Comics, let's get you on board from Jump Street so you don't have to go back and buy 1950s comics.
That may or may not be canon anymore. Right?
Yeah, that may not actually make any sense. And they lead it off with the one about the Phantom Stranger, and I think they do a really good job because they tell 4 different origin stories for him. So they don't let you know actually who he is. They keep him that he's a Phantom, but they
You don't know who he is because he's a stranger. Stranger danger.
First thing, I don't know why anyone follows the Phantom Stranger anywhere in the DC universe. Didn't their parents teach them not to go anywhere with strangers?
Right.
And he tells you
maybe he has good candy.
He tells you he's the Phantom Stranger. I mean, doesn't hide the fact that, hey, I'm a stranger, guys.
Oh, that's me. He just tells you right out front.
And I don't care if he looks like he's going to a society ball in Victorian London. I don't care if he's wearing a cape and a tuxedo and a fedora. But the origins that they break down for him is he's the wandering Jew, who is supposedly one of the people that
cursed by Jesus to walk the earth and never die.
Yeah, because he turned on Jesus, the big J dog. So that's one of them. There's another one where he's king who ruled over basically a town that God thought should be forsaken because they were heathens or whatever, and he didn't love a god who would turn his back on them, and so he tries to kill himself instead of being exalted to heaven, and the angels punish him for committing suicide on that. One of the more
Why did they give him 4 origins? Or are these aren't like part of the same origin, or no?
No, you don't know which one's true.
Well, that's stupid.
This is the best part.
Or cool. I don't know, but it's like
that's my favorite part.
I guess he's a stranger. You don't know him, right? Yeah. Even after this, you don't know him.
Yeah, you get it. This is what I like. You don't know when you have a character called the Phantom Stranger. You're not supposed to know anything about, and you let these people tell these stories, which may all be true. None of them may be true.
Is the 4th story where he shows up and suggests a beer for a podcaster?
That was the one that they left on the cutting room floor.
Okay. Well, that's going to be in Secret Origins Volume 3.
Yes. When they get Dark Final Crisis 2 done, and they have to re-release it, they'll go in Rockville, Maryland. The stranger shows up to suggest beer to Yek of the Comics and Cold Ones podcast. But the 3rd story is a cyclical one where he was a future scientist who was helping siphon off energy from the Big Bang, and there was somebody in the future, another scientist who was trying to get it and use it to do the anti-life equation, basically,
Oh
which
no.
Darkseid's always doing. And it turns out he goes to the future to tell the scientist not to do that. And it turns out that scientist gets sent back in time and becomes a Phantom Stranger because he gets imbued with the essence of the Big Bang.
That's complicated.
It's a flat circle,
Yeah.
as Time said, as my man Matthew McConaughey taught me once. So, and then the final one,
In the library.
the final one's an even more interesting.
Written by Alan Moore.
Yeah, taking on that he is a fallen angel that goes down, fighting God with Lucifer, and then he also gets kicked out of hell because he doesn't buy into Lucifer's plan. Then,
Man, oh
and
man, which one do you like best?
and the interesting about just more on the fallen angel one, one of his buddy fallen angels that talks him into getting with Lucifer is a little angel by the name of Edrigan.
Oh,
Yeah.
nice. Talking in rhymes, is he?
I don't think he talks in rhymes in this, but he does end up in hell and becomes a demon then, right? So
Yeah. Interesting.
So yeah, that's a nice little tie-in. And I go back and forth. I like the Wandering Jew because I like the classical stories, but
Yeah, I know you do. And I like that one. And honestly, that's the only one I read, but I think that one's the best.
I do like the Future Scientist Flat Circle one. It's interesting.
That would be my second favorite, actually, not having read any of them.
But I always like the origin stories where they make you choose your own adventure, man.
Yeah, Choose Your Own Adventures are fun. Have you ever played the Choose Your Own Adventure board game
have
that
not.
I posted on Instagram?
No, I have not.
It's fun. We finished chapter 1.
That's like the end of the game?
No, there's multiple chapters. We have to start on chapter 2.
And did a guy suggest to come out to you in a beer store and suggest a beer to you during chapter 2?
I hope that happens. I hope that happens.
But wait,
I'm going to be looking over my shoulder in beer stores from now on.
So this is a board game you play, and they're chapters, and you don't win in one night. Like you can't finish it in one night.
You can, but there's like 7 chapters, and it's choose your own adventure. So you can like go different places. You can go get the card will tell you to go back to a place, and then you have to choose a different journey.
Is this like Zork? Where you had to...
I don't know what that is, but it's like a choose your own adventure. It's fun. I think it's much more fun than my kids think.
Well, I think your kids have better taste than you.
Because 1985, that's why.
I think your kids are more action-packed than you. That's all.
You can shut up.
That's all I'm thinking. Well, I'm not sending a Phantom Stranger to just a book for you. But I really like that. So if you want to read one of the books from this, and you don't really have to know anything else that's going on in the Legends, I would suggest that one, the Secret Origins one with the Phantom Stranger.
It looks like Secret Origins went 49 issues from, I guess, 86 to 1990. The last one is Secret Origins Newsboy Legion.
Yeah.
From Cadmus.
And you know how much I love me some Newsboy Legion. So.
Oh, and the other one has Pharaoh Lad. Your favorite character.
I still don't understand what's going on.
He's Pharaoh.
He's made
I might have to check some of these out. These are pretty cool. I didn't really know about this series until we were reading all this. Cool.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
All right, so
covering a bad thing. So as we said, this was like to kick off all these characters, and they brought you back in the know with the Phantom Stranger, and they bring you in the know with another team that we'll mention in the next as the good things. But this was meant to really kick off Shazam as a power in the DC universe, as the new Thing, basically being able to rival Superman and all those things. They want to set him up as a primetime character. That's the reason they don't have Superman early on in the series, is because they want to really feature Shazam as that character.
They should have him in this. They should have him more in the story if they want to feature him.
Yes,
but it kind of like, we're going to say this about something else later too, but it fell flat.
Yeah,
really. And even to this day, this was 1985, 86. It's not 2023, and Shazam is still not a major DC character.
But he's a major movie character, and they made 2 movies with him.
He is a major movie character who made 2 moderately famous movies.
and then promptly
I didn't see. Did you see either of them?
I have seen both of them. I watched the
Hmm.
the second one just a couple weekends ago when they released it.
Okay. Okay, so listeners, so you heard him say that he watched the second Shazam movie. You know what could have happened instead of him watching the second Shazam movie? You could have had another show. But no, you guys to watch that movie. I haven't watched it yet.
so
See, so
watching.
selfish. So selfish.
So
I
instead
don't
of
even.
recording a show from 10 to 12 at night,
Yeah. Yeah.
I was reading and I found the new Shazam movie, which has a Lucy Liu come back in it, which I didn't
Really?
expect seeing. Yeah,
I haven't. She hasn't been in much since Kill Bill,
I
has she?
know she hasn't been in
Oh,
anything.
she was in that TV show about modern day Sherlock Holmes.
That's moderately famous.
I didn't watch that either.
Well, it's only moderately famous, yeah. But yeah, Lucy Liu come back. That's the only thing that I can recommend about that. It's interesting. It's okay. It's an
Yeah.
okay show. I mean, I'm going to say 5 out of 10
Yeah.
for the new Shazam movie, number 2.
Yeah. DC's made some strange choices for movies,
Yes.
so I don't know.
But
so back into this Captain Marvel thing. Now the book starts out with Godfrey interviewing Billy Batson, right? But it really looks like Billy Batson's interviewing him.
Yes.
Does Billy Batson have a talk show?
Well, shouldn't he have a talk show?
Well, I think that's interesting, but like, so if Billy Batson has a talk show, sure, but then why doesn't the father of that family recognize him as the kid with the talk show, right?
Well,
Or why is Godfrey interviewing a kid with no parents on his talk show?
this is
I
also,
don't understand.
this is also true because Fawcett City is kind of a weird town, man, where
Oh, it is.
kids
Yeah.
kids get a lot of leeway. But yeah, how do you, how do you let your, what is it, 12-year-old kid go on a grown ass man show that is
To get screamed at about
to get
superheroes,
screened at that goes on, and
even though he's not technically a superhero, right? No one knows his identity.
there's no parental supervision there to help watch out for him.
Right.
You being a father, would you let your kid go on G. Gordon Godfrey's show with no supervision?
Well, I'd have to really think about that because my kids could probably go toe to toe with him.
Without superpowers?
I think so. Yeah.
But the whole thing is a couple of the reviews I read on this from popcult.blog and DCinThe80s.com, a lot of them kind of do the juxtaposition of, this is a hard sell anyway. This is the ultimate innocent character, right? He's a kid that becomes a superhero. And how do you sell that in the 1980s when you're releasing comics like The Watchman and Dark Knight Returns, which are, the first full print, kind of Vertigo, adult, oriented
Black
comics,
Label stuff.
where it's, hey, we're taking away the veil of, superheroes being all good and all those things. Whereas you have Captain Marvel, that's the ultimate, is a kid that believes in everything, which I think's a good try for them on this. It just, they just don't pull it off as well.
Oh man. So our last show, we talked about World's Finest Comics written by Mark Waid. Mark Waid is writing a new Shazam book that just started this year, and the very first panel is Shazam riding a T-Rex. And I imagine a lot of it takes place in Fawcett City, and it's going to have all that weird shit. So who knows? Maybe a future episode, but that might be fun to read.
Yes. But that was one of the bad things that we saw in this is, he doesn't have any spice loaves in his beer.
Or mangoes. Speaking of beer, I'm going to crack open my second because that one, like I said, started out bitter, but the bitterness didn't really stick, and it went down very fast and very smooth. And I would have to say they pinpointed 1985 correctly. Like as I'm drinking this, I'm thinking of
the bitterness.
You know what?
Stuck for a second, then didn't stick long.
Yeah, like how bitter I was as a 9-year-old in 1985.
How that didn't stick too long when the year went on.
Yeah, where were you living in 1985?
You know where I was living in 1985.
Okay, you living in that sweet Tulsa town?
Yeah, I was living on the plains, kid.
In the plains. You know where I was living in 1985?
You
might not.
you had moved around a little bit.
I did move around a little bit.
I don't know where this one was.
In 1985, I was living in East Hampton, baby.
Oh yes.
Yeah, where all we did was drink Voodoo Ranger. It flowed from the sink
And
faucets.
let it stick to our bitterness on us for a little bit.
Yes, and I went to a Catholic school, and instead of wine, Voodoo Ranger.
That's how confession went.
That's how it went.
That's how the nun stuck the bitterness to you.
Yep. Mangoes everywhere in East Hampton in 1985.
Boy,
all over the place.
They'd just been invented.
You make your own mango beer.
They'd just been invented, so.
Yeah. Yeah. And where were they invented? East Hampton.
No. We already discussed it was India. East Hampton, India, though. East Hampton.
Yeah, where were they first imported to in the United States?
East Hampton is a big port town for fruit from India. Big port town.
Billy Joel was like, "Get me some damn mangoes."
Think on a note of something that was invented also in 1985 for this series, 1985-86, was an invention of the rebirth of a little team that took place in Secret Origins 12, I believe it is, or 14.
I think so.
Actually, 14, I think. But it is something that went on to be a bigger thing, which was a villain-led comic, which don't always work usually. Usually peter themselves out, but this one went on a super long run.
Right.
Orchestrated by John Ostrander on his remaking of what, KMac?
His remaking of what? What do you mean remaking?
They've appeared before as different.
Oh, as Task Force X. Is that what you're talking about?
No, they appeared years before as a Suicide Squad.
They did.
They were not villains, and they tell it.
They were like a World War II type.
Yeah, they were. They were, kind of a challengers of the unknown. Government people sent on impossible missions. But this one gets reinvented under Amanda Waller for the first time. This is the one that made it into the movies. And had one good movie, one bad movie, not that order, but this is the original Suicide Squad that debuts all through Legends, and then they tell their story on how they become to be in Secret Origins. But the first Suicide Squad that you would recognize consists of, in this one, Enchantress, Captain Boomerang, Blockbuster, Deadshot, Bronze Tiger, all read by Colonel Rick Flag, also known as Mother Effin' Task Force X.
Yeah. All of those characters are also Marvel characters.
Which one is a Marvel character?
Enchantress.
Yes.
Doesn't Marvel have a character called Boomerang?
They have a Captain Boomerang. They don't have a Captain Boomerang. They have Boomerang. They don't have a Captain.
They have Boomerang in Marvel.
Yes. I believe there is a Blockbuster in the Marvel Universe also.
I think there is too. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. I mean, in Deadshot and Bronze Tiger is like a male version of Tigress.
No.
Except much worse.
No.
Less sexy.
He's just a martial arts expert that goes by a silly name of Bronze Tiger. But Deadshot being an analogy also to Bullseye, basically.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so they're pretty much all Marvel characters.
I think, but I don't know.
Especially Bronze Tiger.
The most Marvel of characters.
Yes. Okay, so there's insight into the show. So Yek and I did watch the best Suicide Squad movie together, which was the first movie we saw together since what movie? In theater. Let's just go theater movie.
Last time we saw a movie together in theaters before we watched Suicide Squad 2.
Yeah. I have two, but I'm not sure which one it is.
I want to say it was one of the Star Wars re-releases.
Oh, I don't know about that. That could be.
I think that was the last.
I don't think so. I was thinking it was Con Air.
We did, but I think the Star Wars releases came after Con Air.
It could be one of those. We also saw I Know What You Did Last Summer, but that was before those.
Yes. But no, I thought it was one of the Star Wars releases and or the Undiscovered Country. First Contact Star Trek.
Oh yeah, it could have been First Contact Star Trek. Yeah, that might have been it because that was that the first Next Generation movie.
No, it wasn't the first one.
Was that the Borg? That was the Borg one, right?
Yeah, it's the second one. Generations is the
They
first, and then then it's
That's
taking
right. And the second was the Borg, where they go back in time.
you're going back in time as a Borg.
I am going back in time as a Borg.
But getting back
Going back to 1985. Yes, but Suicide Squad.
going back to your origins in Suicide Squad. Why do you like the Suicide Squad? This is the one you wrote down. So
No, I didn't write. You wrote this
no,
one
you
down. I
wrote
didn't
this
write
one
this one down.
down.
No, I did
Okay.
not. Suicide Squad is okay. I like that. I think it's a good idea to have a book where you can feature a team of villains who don't really want to be there, don't really want to work together, but are kind of forced to work together. It's a good chance to, feature some characters you might not otherwise feature. And they can die too. You can just kill off like stupid villains like Blockbuster. Spoilers. Sorry. Yeah, and Amanda Waller is a cool character as well. I think she's a different character than you would expect them to introduce at this period of time.
Yes, very, very, very modern, very, manufactual. It plays the gray area of comic books well. She
Yeah.
serves a purpose, and with the heroes against the heroes, it's all about, her America and what she wants to make out of it and those things. So yeah, overall this, I think, went on well enough to, make a good movie, great name. You can't beat that name for a comic book.
Right. The name is great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah. And like I said, it allows for some creativity in that you don't always have to have the same team. It just depends on the mission.
Yeah.
And you can play off other books too. Like if a lot of Batman villains like Harley Quinn, for example, are caught and incarcerated, you can pull them in. Like so you can feed off other books pretty easily.
Yes. Yeah, overall and well done. This is kind of the kickoff of all of that with this Legends series to bring them in as infamous, not legends, but infamous legends. So they make them out of
Yeah.
it.
And Captain Boomerang is dressed like a birthday party wizard or something. It's awesome.
Well, that's just standard Australian clothing. That's how they dress down under.
We have a buddy from Australia and he dresses like that all the time.
He's always pulling rabbits out of his hat,
He is.
cutting ropes,
Yeah.
and never got cut.
Throwing boomerangs.
Yes. So on the bad end, so G. Gordon Godfrey, the good part about it is they actually make it believable on how he turns the populace against superheroes and everything, but then they need something to amp up the take over the humanity and get something to rally behind them so that people believe in the new overlords. And so Darkseid comes up with the idea of robotic warhounds.
Yeah, it kind of takes it one step too far. I think if he kept doing what he was doing, it would have worked. But putting people in robot dogs, a little weird. And they're in there like operating it. There's like person who operates the head and a person who operates the tail, I guess. It's a really
And they talk.
weird. Yeah, and they talk.
I
mean, Darkseid's plan to this point was really good. Then he kind of like,
mean,
he just got too cocky or something.
they take it across the board where he's sending in agents all the way to, he even sends agents to the center of Earth to go to Scaratus. He sends the Sod to take on Warlord, even
to impersonate Warlord. Yeah,
to take on Warlord because he's a legend on Earth, albeit in the center of the Earth. So
yeah, I think Darkseid was really just tired of Desaad at that point. He's like, get this guy out of here. Go.
You want to go on vacation to a place where the sun never sets? Guaranteed.
Gone.
And take some Warhounds with you. But no, it's like the Warhounds look stupid. They look like Terminator dogs without the skin on, basically. If you
they do. That's a good point. Yeah, it's bad design, a bad part of the plan. I honestly don't think they even needed it for the story, really.
I mean,
except they needed something big to fight. They needed something for the heroes to fight.
Yeah, if you wanted to do it, because the Phantom Stranger would have been overcome, because one of his lines against Darkseid is cutaway scene basically of a dad throwing away all a kid's toys of superheroes, and the kid going and rescue him, and Darkseid like cackling, and the kid going out and get him even though the dad's awful, and basically Stranger just like drops a truth bomb on him and goes, "You can't take away the hearts and mind of children, motherfucking Darkseid," because the kid rescues the toys. But he could have, because the only thing the kids like more than superheroes are fluffy dogs. So if
That's
if he
true.
made the Warhounds fluffy, game over. Phantom Stranger,
Right.
check and mate.
Yeah, man. I don't know how Darkseid missed it.
Why doesn't Darkseid hire this podcast on his schemes?
I don't know.
Because I guarantee kids, fluffy dogs, hearts and minds taken away from superheroes.
Yeah.
Because
The kids would have abandoned those. The kids would have been punching those
it
superheroes,
would have
saying,
been
"Give me my fluffy
it would have
dog."
been a beat down with the puppies. Guy Gardner, Green Lantern, lops off his fluffy puppy.
Yeah.
Everybody's taking the fluffy puppy, right?
Right.
Bloodwind, Bloodwind, baby Chihuahua, baby Chihuahua Warhound, baby Chihuahua.
Yeah. I mean, Darkseid has me. I'm on Darkseid's team there.
It's just the case, man. But
Yeah, I'm surprised they didn't take this opportunity to introduce Bloodwind next time.
you gotta save that. You gotta save that.
Legends Part 2.
Just so you know, also, this story lives on through other events, and we'll get to it more when I get to it. But before we get to those, kind of the final like big thing, but we'll go over KMac's favorite part of this whole.
It might be your favorite part too, right?
There's 28 parts of the series here. And what's the best event in all of this?
Well, so Blue Beetle is featured pretty prominently in the Legend story, and a few of his books cross over. He's based out of Chicago,
Chi-town,
and it's really just
the
about
Windy City.
Yeah, I got my Chicago shirt on, my Abe Froman shirt today. Abe Froman not featured in the Blue Beetle series, unfortunately.
No Sausage Kings.
No Sausage Kings.
But there is something else.
There is something else like to do with. So is it sausage? Is there sausage in that?
No,
I think there's sausage.
No, there's a type of sausage, but it's not traditionally thought of sausage. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So, and it's really just Blue Beetle. Like his story is he's trying to figure out what Chronos is doing. Chronos is the master of time.
So yeah, this is one of the few times where they introduce a new villain from the existing DC universe to fight a new character from outside.
Right.
And so Chronos has traditionally been an Atom villain, the Time Thief, and Blue Beetle, he's come to Chicago.
What's funny is Chronos' appearance prior to this was in an issue of World's Finest Comics where he fought Superman and Batman. Our last episode was about World's Finest Comics, and I own only one issue of World's Finest Comics, and it's that issue.
Nice.
Phantom Stranger. He all made this happen. So, and really, just it's a good Blue Beetle story where he's just trying to it seems like he's trying to find his footing as a superhero for the most part, and he has all his cool gadgets and everything, and Chronos is busy trying to steal clocks, and Blue Beetle is trying to figure out what Chronos' master plan is. So he somehow finds Chronos' warehouse, and he's hiding in the warehouse, and Chronos comes in on his, what is he flying? He flies in like a some kind of timepiece or something.
Yeah, on a giant,
do you remember?
Like watch or whatever, right?
Yeah, like a giant watch head or something.
And one of his weapons is he throws clock hands that are like daggers.
Yeah. And Chronos, and I've said this before because I don't know if we talked about him on this show or somewhere else, but like Chronos looks like he went in his closet and found all his favorite clothes and put them all on at the same time. Like he doesn't match at all. He has like striped pants, green cape, white mask. He's just all over the place. He's just not very well coordinated, but it's awesome. Right. So Chronos comes into the warehouse and he has a package, and you're like, oh my goodness.
Yeah, Blue Beetle snuck into his lair,
his warehouse,
to take him down.
Yeah. And you're like, we're going to figure out what Chronos' plan is because he, whatever is in this package has to be super important. And he opens it up. It's a Chicago sandwich. Yes. Did they say what kind of sandwich?
Oh, they do. The sandwich, because Chronos says it himself. He's so excited to eat the sandwich. It consists of garlic, onions, and pepperoni. And that's not enough. So Chronos says, I need to put a little salt on it. And then he says, after he puts the salt on it, what does he say?
Oh, you're going to have to tell me. I don't remember.
It's chow time.
Chow time. But is it really chow time?
No.
No, he doesn't get to eat a sandwich. So you don't often get to root for the villain. But in this scene, you really want the villain to just get his sandwich.
So up to now in the 2-part series, Chronos has killed 2 of his thugs, and one of the girls that he mind wipes gets Final Destination in this
Yeah.
by a bus hitting her, which is just gruesome. And all we care about, Chronos cares about, is making sure he gets a sandwich to eat in his
And
lair.
at that point, that's all the reader cares
Yes.
about too. We're like, let this guy get his sandwich.
It's a big sandwich too, because he carries it like a
It's a
football, like football size.
Yeah,
And
it's definitely a foot long. It's a foot long
yeah,
for
it's foot
sure, at
long.
least.
Yeah, and he's got it wrapped up in the baker's paper or the butcher's paper. So yeah,
Yeah, that is one of the classic moments in DC Comics history.
I
I would have to say
I think we may need to make on this episode sometime a Chrono sandwich to see how good it is. Garlic, onion, and pepperoni.
that's a for a whole sandwich. That's a lot of garlic, onion, and pepperoni,
Yes.
huh?
Well, we don't know the
Wow.
proportions, correct? So we're gonna have to.
Right. So we need to call. Who wrote that issue? Who wrote that issue? We need to find that out because we need to reach out to them and find out what exactly was on that sandwich. Because
Because you can put a lot of garlic on a sandwich.
yeah, but for a foot long, like that's a lot of like garlic, onion, and
I
pepperoni
assume it's just
only.
like a lot of pepperoni and then onion. There's probably gonna be some oil. So Lynn Wein wrote this,
Yeah.
and has Lynn passed away? Oh no, Lynn passed in 2017. So
Well, shit.
we will have to go get some time thieving.
We'll have to ask Ostrander then.
Yes,
Or did he pass away too?
I don't know. Well, we can just kind of mess around and see if we can figure out the Chronos time thief sandwich. Yeah, Ostrander's still kicking.
Perfect. He was born in 1949. Wow. Good for him.
Yes, people were born in 1949.
No, but I like, is he still writing comics?
I don't know.
I don't think so. It looks like he stopped writing comics around like 2009.
When you got Suicide Squad money, man, you don't need to do anything.
That's true. That's true. That's a good point.
But
Yeah, I guess that only makes him 74. Sorry, everyone.
now,
That's not super old.
if I open a hoagie shop and I make the Chronos the Time Thief sub, do I have to stamp on it created by Lin Wein on every one of them?
I think so. Well, you should advertise that for sure. But then he gets royalties from
He
that.
gets royalties from the sandwiches that we're making.
Nothing comes up on Google for Chicago onion, pepperoni, and garlic sandwich. I just keep getting sausage and pepper
Yes.
sandwiches.
No. Having lived many years in Chicago,
Yeah,
there are Italian sub shops that are quite famous. I don't think any of them makes a garlic, onion, and pepperoni sub.
I don't think so either. No.
That's unique to time thieving, I think.
Yeah, so probably alternate universe sandwich stuff going on there. All right. What's another another thing we didn't like about this?
Well, this is the one that you didn't like, but I liked, and you think Darkseid was too much of a bit player and talked too much.
Yeah, I mean, I think that every issue had Darkseid and the Phantom Stranger talking about the same thing. And there was one issue where along the bottom of every page was just Darkseid narrative, and it kind of got distracting from the story. They could have done that a little differently. I would have liked to have seen, and I know Darkseid is too powerful to participate in these little schemes. He sends his henchmen and things, but it would have been nice to have like maybe a little bit of Darkseid action. It doesn't have to be a lot. And I know he had some action in the Superman issues,
That's what I like. So the
but
whole thing is Darkseid. This is going back to real Kirby. Is he doesn't dirty his hands, doesn't need to. Is the whole thing is he's so
right, he's a god.
his
He's the god.
his overpowering essence is the scariest part about him, right? So if he does something, it's like spanking your kid. You can only spank a kid once, right? Then they're not scared of it anymore. So it's more the fear and the idea that he's moving the levers without you knowing about it. That's what's so dark about him, right? So, and I thought that's the great thing is that they didn't need to show it, and the only time they showed it is the one time they have a character that supposedly is powerful as him, right?
Yeah.
Superman. So when he uses his Omega beams.
That was a cool scene when the Omega Beams are chasing Clark
Yes,
Kent. But yeah, I can understand him not getting his hands dirty and fighting, but it was just too much narrative from Darkseid, too much of the same narrative every issue, and that's the thing I didn't like is every issue had like a 3-page recap of the issue before.
that's
And I
always
understand
that's always
it's
rough. Yeah.
80s, so
You're picking this off the
it,
newsstand, so you got to tell the kid what's up.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, I get it. It's just it's a lot these days for an old guy like me to have to read the
You
recap,
heard it.
but it's not bad.
You heard
It's
it
3 pages I can skip.
You heard it first. KMac can't read.
Can't read
Can't
recaps. I
read.
just can't do it. The words don't make any
But no,
sense.
overall, that's one of my favorite parts of the things was it's a true dark side story where he's just setting up the scheme and letting the scheme run itself, and he's lording over, and the Phantom Strangers they are just you know one upping him about the kids' hearts and minds.
Yeah. Yeah. And I guess it is too soon post crisis to have the heroes defeat Darkseid in a physical confrontation. You don't really want that like right out the gate. You want to hold Darkseid for the
Yep.
next whatever. Because the next crossover has Darkseid in it too, doesn't it?
What is the next? No, I believe the next crossover in DC becomes Invasion, right? Is it
Oh yeah,
Invasion?
maybe it's
I believe it's Invasion next before you get to Cosmic
I'll
Odyssey.
find out. Is it Invasion before Cosmic
I
Odyssey?
believe.
No, Cosmic Odyssey's next,
Okay, Cosmic Odyssey is next. Okay.
which is really good.
Yep. But it brings us back to the reason you don't use Darkseid is because, like I said, they save Superman for last, so they do all the Superman comics 3 back to back, kicking off John Byrne, and this is a story that gets retold multiple times, not only in other media. So the Legends shows up in Young Justice, the animated, and also basically
Mm.
similarly in Justice League Unlimited with G. Gordon Godfrey being a character. They do pretty much kind of the G. Gordon Godfrey whole apocalypse thing on Young Justice on the animated. They do a similar kind of thing with G. Gordon Godfrey on Justice Unlimited, but they don't actually make him the actual illusion. But he has a character
Yeah.
setting up that heroes, anti-heroes, and all this. And then the Superman story, they retell it because the whole point was to take away the heroes from Earth or whatever. But they take Superman, the biggest hero, away from Earth and put him in Apocalypse, where he becomes what?
Well, he becomes like the savior of
Yes.
Apocalypse,
So yeah,
the common folk.
the whole thing was, you took away the essence of what was supposed to bring Earth down, and you put it in your own planet, and it took them down on
Uh,
Apocalypse.
yeah, and it brings up,
Yep.
yeah, he rises to the level of legend on Apocalypse.
Yes. And so yeah,
Yeah.
it's the reverse. And so this gets told in a couple animated, like one of the DC animated movies, and then also I think in the DC animated TV shows like Justice League, I think they redo it once also
Hmm.
because bring in Superman, then he tries to fight and he gets knocked out and gets amnesiac, and the Hunger Dogs find him, and he rises
Hmm.
up from the slums, then raises up to them, and then Apocalypse tries to corrupt him and treating him like he's Apocalypse's son, which is like the whole thing in what the DC Snyderverse wanted to do also, if we remember right,
Yeah,
you kids, if you've read the online stories. So yeah, this is where it took place. This was, I
would
think
have
this
been cool in the
yeah,
movies.
I think this is John Byrne's influence over the whole Legend series. But that's one of the big gets is this actually comes out of this series. So if you're ever interested in knowing where that came from, this was where they kicked it off and did it in 3 parts of the Legend series.
Yeah, that was good. I enjoyed that story. And then with that, you have the little Orion light ray
Mm-hmm.
fight at the end of that series as well, where they, kind of bring his memory back, so then he can, you know, take on Darkseid. Although Darkseid's like, I'm too good to fight you, Superman, so he just sends him back to
Yeah.
Earth in true Darkseid
Yes.
fashion, right?
Not get my hands dirty.
Mm-hmm.
Go fight my war hounds.
Yeah.
Which ends up, and then to close all out, one of the things that KMac didn't like so much, and I'm on the fence, but also something that probably falls flat is in Crisis. They wipe away Wonder Woman's history. Most people may not, if you've watched this, listen to the podcast, you know that they wipe her away and then recreate her as a whole new character, a whole new Wonder Woman.
No backstory.
No backstory. Nobody knows about her, and she shows up at the very end to kick some more hound ass,
And then just disappears again.
and just disappears again.
Yeah, so I understand they wanted to debut her in this, and it makes sense to debut her in this because you're bringing your new heroes together. But it kind of falls flat. She's gone. It would have been cool if she joined the new Justice League, perhaps. I don't know,
But no,
who knows how that would have worked out.
But then they save her for Justice League in Europe, which she finally
where she doesn't really join either.
she finally shows up after a few issues.
Yeah,
but it takes a while to get her in there.
Yeah,
but those are the things we really like. There are other great things in here, like there's a whole cosmic boy coming back from the future and to tourist travel in 1985, and he saves NASA. In fact, the people that are riled up against superheroes get riled up against NASA. And there's a great photo of a tubby NASA scientist wearing glasses, just deck a rioter trying to take down NASA. That is amazing. There's the there's a firestorm issue that just gets trippy as balls that set at like Pittsburgh University, where the professor and everything's going on, and the professor's doubting his life because he's gotten influenced by G. Gordon Gottfried and thinking about committing suicide. So there's some gunplay involved that is just.
There's some what is this? There's the professor and there's Ronnie Raymond, right? Yeah, there's some Ronnie Raymond scenes where he gets turned to firestorm in the shower and they have the nuclear symbol over some sensitive areas.
Yes. And it's an interesting, and then Hawk goes rogue and arms the ROTC.
He's also at Pittsburgh U, huh?
Yeah. And almost has a Kent State incident in DC Comics, which you just scratch your head who was cleaning this for the Comics Code Authority. But yeah, some things you got to read. And there's lots of mid 80s Ronald Reagan cameos in here where he issues the orders that heroes have to go away, such as Superman. And then also Martian Manhunter impersonates Ronald Reagan at one point during this, which is just, as a kid of the 80s, is just unbelievable. So,
yeah, Reagan had a big year in DC Comics because he was in Dark Knight Returns pretty prominently.
Yes, as well. This was, very much culturally relevant Ronald Reagan at the time, and the commentary that they were giving in conjunction with superheroes, interestingly enough. So, but if you had to rate this, did you like this better than Crisis, or
no?
You didn't?
No, I didn't. What I did like about it is that it was shorter than Crisis. Crisis was probably a little bit too long.
Well, this isn't shorter than Crisis if you just read the 12 issues of Crisis or whatever, right?
Yeah, that is true. If you just read the 12 issues of Crisis.
I read all 28 issues of Legends, and I love it.
Yeah, I like Crisis a little bit better, but yeah, I don't know. There was just a lot of, it felt like a lot of the same thing every issue. A lot of, oh no, the people don't like us.
Yes.
Okay, what am I going to do? I don't know. On the next issue, people don't like us. What am I going to do? I don't know. And the last issue, they go to Washington.
Instead of making everything 4 issues in each of the series, they could all made them 2 issues, like the Blue Beetle, and I think it would have been a lot tighter, a lot better.
Yeah, I think you're right.
That's where I think, they, like, I did not need 4 issues of that JLA crap. I did not need, 4 issues of Cosmic Boy. I'm sorry. They could have Cosmic Boy Hagel. They could have.
Or even 4 issues of Warlord.
Yeah. Well, right? We didn't get 4 issues. We only got 2 issues of Warlord.
Was it 2? I thought it was at least 3.
I could have had 4 issues of Warlord, my friend. Because I don't read enough of Warlord.
I thought it was more than
114 and 115 of Warlord.
Oh, that's it. All right. Could have been 1 issue of Warlord.
No, you can't shortcut Warlord. He has a gun. I would like to
start at the beginning of Warlord.
We're going to do our Warlord series. We start at issue 1.
Get ready, everybody.
We read 1 comic and cover each one with 1 beer that's war themed.
Yeah.
and we wear the loincloths and eagle feather headdresses
and have a pistol in our holster.
And we don't turn off any of the lights for a day in our houses. So we feel like we're on Scary Towers or whatever the place is. That comic ran
A long time.
for like, mother effing a long, long time.
Yeah, some of these 80s comics ran for much longer than comics would run for today.
Well, Warlord started in like the 70s, man.
Okay, Warlord was 75 was the first issue. They don't have them all in DC Unlimited, but
they just recently posted the original one.
Yeah, and 114 was out in 86.
76 or 88.
Wow.
That's just the 133 issues, and that's just the run. I think there was probably a miniseries before that or whatever. So,
and they just came out with an issue in 2023, The Lost World of Warlord. Well, at least it says it's 2023.
We got to bring him back. He's coming for Chronos, the sandwiches. But no, overall, Legends, I like it as much as Crisis. It has staying power because like I said, there are multiple things that they've carried on from this that they went through. And interesting enough, it's not the things they were hoping to push, with the new Wonder Woman, with the new, getting Shazam in there, with, those things. Those were not the things that were necessarily that came through, but it is with just John Byrne's like first kickoff on running all of Superman, which is, amazing with that. And Suicide Squad, where, you thought that would fall flat. Sandwiches did not continue on as much, and that's something
they didn't. Villains didn't really want sandwiches after this. Well, like you said too, like even though like it seemed like their intent was to make a superpowered JLA in this, the JLA that they set up eventually led to like the Justice League International, which is, people have fond memories of that Justice League.
Yes. So overall,
and that wasn't their intention with this book, obviously.
Well, they wanted to wipe it clean and bring in a new JLA. That's my
Well, they did, but
that was the whole point.
But I feel like they wanted it to have Superman and Wonder Woman in it too, but it just seemed like for whatever reason, DC didn't let that happen.
Well, at the time, they wanted Wonder Woman and Superman to stand on their own. If I remember right, DC was like, you can have anybody you want but these two, because we want them to, we're going to run 4 books with Superman, and you're gonna deal with your own. We don't have to deal with doing the crossovers and everything like that and figuring out where he is.
Yeah, that back when continuity really mattered. Yeah, that's a good point. Good point. Yeah, but like I didn't dislike it. I like Crisis a little bit better.
Good deal. And how did you like your beer? Would you buy 1985 again? Do you only want 1985 versions of NEIPA beers? New England IPA.
No, I'm gonna stick with current versions of New England IPAs. I didn't dislike it, but it's not my favorite IPA. So I have to think of a good rating for it. So I'm gonna let you rate yours while I think of, something that I like but didn't like too much.
I'm gonna rate mine as basically a new Superman story. Yeah, the Apocalypse Superman, because it's Kolsch's classic style that you if you've had enough beer, you know what it tastes like. This is a little bit of a reimagination of that style, and it's really, really crisp, clean, and they didn't try to over mess with it and try to make it funky, bittery, or anything. But you can tell the difference between normal Kolsch's and this one, because it's not watery. Sometimes Kolsch's can be a little watery on the beer tasting. What I would consider beery taste coming in your mouth, it comes in more watery taste, because it's more. A lot of people brew it for summertime beers, and this one does not. It comes through crisp, clean, and light. I liked it, and I will say, Apocalypse Superman.
All right, very good rating. Very good rating. So, all right. So one thing I liked about Legends was that Jason Todd got beat up pretty good. One thing I didn't like about Legends is that he didn't die. They should have just killed him in Legends. It would have made, much more of an impact. I get it. It's probably too early in their universe resetting to kill Robin, but Jason Todd didn't die, and I think that was a mistake.
So, really, you're already trying to kill off Jason Todd.
Yeah. Why not? Right. So Yeah, that's going to be my rating that Jason Todd didn't die in 1985.
No, no 86 Todd.
Yeah. Yeah. So
No
I,
86
I,
Jason
I like,
Todd.
so I like that he got beat up, but I didn't like that he lived. So I like this beer, but probably not enough to get it again. It's just, there's just something weird about the flavor that I just can't put my finger on it, but
So of the Voodoo Rangers series you've had,
yes.
this one's the lowest ranking. That's what I'm hearing.
Yeah, I would
You
say.
like Voodoo Ranger a lot. You were a devotee of the Voodoo Ranger series.
Well, what's funny is like I don't think I've had that many Voodoo Rangers. I know I think I just posted a picture of one that I had the other
You
day,
did.
and that one was great. I really liked that one, but this one is definitely not as good as that one. Now I have to go try all the Voodoo Rangers and rate them all.
And they do the cool thing where they make the 12-pack stackable, so it looks like a tall Voodoo Ranger, or the 6-pack stackable. Have you seen that? So if you
I have not.
yeah,
Oh
so
boy.
the way the branding and the graphic designers did it, so if you rotate them, you can make it stack, so you can get like a half a body of the Voodoo Ranger standing up on the store shelf.
Sweet.
Clever branding.
That is good
Yeah.
branding
Yeah.
by a
So
legendary brewery.
legendary brewery out of New
Mhm.
Belgium, out of Fort Collins, Colorado.
Yes. And Asheville. I've been to the one in
Oh,
Asheville.
they have. Oh, I forgot they did their
Yeah.
East Coast version in Nashville.
Yep.
So that's our Big Swid pub crawl. And if you like what you heard and you want to email us or talk to us about things you might have liked about this series or recommend beers that we should have drank during this episode or beers we should be drinking in the future, you can email us at cbcopodcast@gmail.com. Hit us up at Twitter at cbco_podcast, or like all the pictures of the sandwiches we're going to post
Oh yeah, sandwiches,
after
baby.
we make an attempted one here on Instagram at comicbooks_cold ones. And if you're in Fort Mill, South Carolina, please let us know how that mall building's going on from Miss USA. It's your first episode, so.
Hell yeah. And primetime players,
And,
keep playing, baby.
and let
Keep
us know about
playing.
a brewery that we can appear at if you want moderately famous podcast to come down and appear in your town.
We will be right there. Awesome. Well, thanks everyone for listening. Crack a beer open for us.